Imagine you get caught in a sudden downpour on a busy street. If someone is standing on the corner selling umbrellas, you hand over a $20 bill without a second thought. You grab the umbrella, open it, and keep walking. Compare that to buying a television. You might spend 3 weeks reading reviews, studying the exact pixel density of two identical screens, and agonizing over a $30 price difference. Why do we do this? Why do we obsess over certain consumer choices while making others on complete autopilot? Market categories follow the cognitive energy we invest in the transaction. The friction scale measures the specific amount of psychological effort we spend to acquire a product. This scale provides the logic for the global marketplace, sorting every purchase into two distinct hemispheres. This chart breaks down the taxonomy of consumer goods. On the far left, we have the lowest tier of shopping effort, convenience goods. These are non-durable items that get consumed quickly and purchased frequently. Within this low-effort zone, there are a few subcategories. The first is emergency products. These are circumstantial purchases driven by an immediate, intense need. Standard purchasing logic vanishes here. If you are injured and require an ambulance, you don't shop around for the best rate. Price is irrelevant. The second subcategory is impulse products. These are spontaneous purchases made without prior planning. Impulse buying operates on a strict visibility rule. If a child hears an ice cream truck, they want it immediately. But if they don't see the product at the exact moment that emotional need arises, the craving passes and the sale is lost. The third subcategory consists of staple products. These are the routine items like milk, bread, or toothpaste that consumers buy on a regular basis without thinking. Branding plays a massive role for staples. A recognizable logo acts as a mental shortcut, allowing the brain to bypass its normal evaluation process and grab the item on reflex. All convenience goods share a common trait. They are purchased by reacting, either to external circumstances or internal habits, skipping proactive thought. Moving to the opposite extreme of our flowchart, we find shopping goods. These are highly durable items with a slow use-up rate that demand significant time and effort to procure. Consumers approach these items with a strict purchasing yardstick. You won't hand over your credit card without carefully measuring the product against criteria like suitability, quality, price, and style. This category splits into two distinct paths. First, we have homogeneous shopping goods. Consumers view basic appliances as identical, funneling effort entirely into finding the lowest price. Next are heterogeneous goods, like custom furniture. Here, distinct features and build quality outweigh the price tag, pushing buyers to test and inspect the item in person. Shopping goods strip away our autopilot reflexes. They force the consumer to become an active, cautious investigator before parting with their money. The core difference between a tube of toothpaste and a living room sofa comes down to the cognitive load it demands from the buyer. Physical retail spaces aren't just designed by accident. Instead, they are carefully engineered maps of this psychological friction scale. Impulse goods I place directly at the checkout register, forcing visibility when you're a captive audience. Meanwhile, heterogeneous shopping goods are grouped in showrooms designed to invite deep comparison and testing. Even brand loyalty changes based on this scale. Retailers stock competing brands of heterogeneous goods right next to each other, knowing the consumer has a psychological need to compare options before feeling secure in their choice. The cognitive load of a purchase dictates its place in the market, defining the branding on the label, the location on the shelf, and our behavior at the register.